Edoziem. Mazi, please welcome. Over to you. The platform is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mazi Jonathan. I hope I'm coming out clear.
You are coming out crystal clear. Go on.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night to you, great Biafrans, wherever you may be, depending on your time zone at this very hour. My name is Mazi Chika Edoziem. I come from Ihe Oma. Ihe Oma is in Biafra land. And by the grace of Elohim, I serve the indigenous people of Biafra in the Directorate of State as the head of directorate. Biafrans, first of all, let me bring greetings from the leader of this great movement, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to the IPOB family worldwide. Of course, it is in the public domain that after some usual game of the zoo, our council, the lawyers of the IPOB, were finally granted access to see our leader. And from that visit, he sends his regards to the Biafran family worldwide. And of course, we know that as he told us, that in this struggle that we have embarked upon, he will not disappoint Biafrans. And it is only Biafrans that may disappoint him, but I can assure you that this great family will not disappoint Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is important that I speak to Biafrans this evening on very, very important issues. The first of which is the ghost town complete lockdown of Biafra land, which will commence on the 9th of this month, August 2021. You know, people have been expressing one view or the other, or one concern or the other. But I want to let people to understand that the Biafran people, the IPOB family worldwide, and those of us in the homeland of Biafra, we are ready to do anything that humanity can do, that is humanly possible, as a sacrifice to ensure that Onyendu, the leader of this movement, is released unconditionally and sooner than later. And our civic action of locking down Biafra land on a weekly basis, once a week, on Mondays, in conjunction with the protests still going on around the world, in addition to our forays in the diplomatic arena, and of course, on the legal battlefield, we are prepared to give anything that can be given. We are prepared to do anything that can be done. We are prepared to make the sacrifices that should be made for our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to rejoin us very soon. Therefore, those who are expressing concerns, what they should be focusing on and what they should be directing their energies upon is to join hands with this great family, IPOB, worldwide to make sure that Onyendu is unconditionally released, and to the politicians in Biafra land, the governors especially, those of them that one way or the other, or I am mobilizing the Biafran family in Biafra land, that the 9th of August is a date that we have to meet with history. Now, the second matter that I need to talk about, and which concerns not just the IPOB family, but it relates to a great extent to anybody or everyone that has been saddled. You do not from the finance department. A coordinator, you do not take instructions from the media department. A coordinator, you do not take instructions from the legal department and all the other departments that we may have. And we have seen with our time that some principal servants tend to go beyond their area of authority and jurisdiction and begin to give instructions to coordinators which they do not have that mandate to do. I'm hoping that tonight will be the last time I will talk or speak on this issue. If you are in any doubt, go and take up your code of conduct and study it again. Study it again and make sure it stays. That will help you to work efficiently and effectively. That will help you to avoid distractions. That will help you to focus on the area that you are supposed to focus. I will not finish this very number 2 topic without mentioning that our brother, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is a Biafran. And of course, he has, as a Biafran, as IPOB family member, he has to make his views known. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not have the authority to issue instructions to IPOB principal servants. You, who is a principal servant that is taking instructions from outside of the structure, you have yourself to blame. You will have yourself to blame if after tonight that rubbish continues again. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an IPOB member. Of course, many of us know that he is a blood relation to Onyendu. It does not give him any power to issue instructions to IPOB principal servants and to the IPOB family worldwide. And I hope he will advise himself properly. Now, finally, the last matter that I need to speak about here, and I'm asking Biafrans to pay very close attention. IPOB worldwide family, we had an account opened in the United States of America by the leader of this movement, and we gave it the name ESN account. Of course, that's not the name it was read, but we know when we say it is an account for ESN, we know what that means. That simply means that funds raised on behalf of the ESN, contributions on behalf of the ESN goes into that account. Of course, we also have another account here in Italy that was also meant for Europeans to be pulling their ESN funds together. But this does not in any way detract from the fact that we have a worldwide ESN account. And when this account was shut down as a result of what has transpired, a new account has been opened. And that new account will serve the same purpose as the one that was closed, meaning this new account will be an account for ESN contributions, ESN fundraisings all over the world. If you raise funds in the name of ESN, Eastern Security Network, you have to send that money to this new account. I'll give you the name, I'll give you the particulars in a moment. And anybody who wishes or desires to support the ESN that are on the ground, in the bushes, making sure that our forests are safe for our mothers, making sure that our forests are safe for our fathers and our relatives to go and do their usual farm work. This account is there to provide them every logistics that they will require to carry out their functions and duties effectively. Therefore, all the controversy about account must cease tonight. And the new account for ESN goes as follows. I'm going to rush through this, but the information regarding this account is already in the possession of every continental rep, and all our continental rep must ensure that this account is also made available to where we have regional reps. This account must be made available to them, and the regional reps in turn, and of course continental reps where we don't have regions, will ensure that these accounts are made available to their national coordinators, and the national coordinators will disseminate this account down to the family, to the last man, to the last unit. And people can begin from now, from this moment, to pay in their ESN support funds into that account. If you have raised funds and you are holding it for ESN, please, you have the directive this very moment to make sure that that fund is transmitted or transferred into the new ESN account. And the account name is this: Umueri Arodi Areli in USA Corporation. Once again, the name of the account is Umueri Arodi Areli in USA Corporation. This account is domiciled with the Bank of America, and the account number goes this way:
Mazi, you're on mute.
I realized I was on mute. I wouldn't know if
the account number, please, you mention it. It's from there
okay.
You muted yourself here.
Okay, I'm sorry about it. Now the account number, let me repeat it, please. My apologies. 446 048 777 991. Again, 446 048 777 991. The routing number goes this way: 05 200 1633, 052 001 633. This is the routing number. And you can pay as well or make your contributions through Zelle, and the Zelle email address is umuchuku567@gmail.com. You can as well make your contributions by Zelle, and the Zelle email address is umuchuku567@gmail.com. Additionally, people can make their contributions if they go to ipobinUSA.org website. That is our official website in USA. If you go there, you will see the donation buttons and you can make your donation. And for those outside of USA, there will be a need for SWIFT code when you are transferring funds from outside the United States into the United States. There will be a SWIFT code, and that SWIFT code is as well also available. So all this information that I have set out this very moment, they contain in the information or the notice that your coordinators will make available to Biafrans worldwide. And I do not hope that we will be talking about issue of ESN fund going forward, because for me, that is quite unnecessary. I am to some extent disappointed that people have been regurgitating this matter on and on and on and again, and creating the impression that we are focused on ESN fund when our leader is languishing in the hands of the enemy. That actually must not be the case, and that is not the case. Therefore, anyone, I repeat, who begins or comes after tonight to talk about whether this account is authentic or not, then ask that person what his or her interest is. Everyone must focus on the duties assigned to them. Be on your goalpost and carry out your functions, and leave the rest for those who has that mandate to carry them out. This information I am giving this night is a directive as if mind my word, as if this directive is coming from Onyendu, that is the way every one of us must. If you're an IPOB family member, you're a principal officer, that is the way all of us must adhere to this very instruction tonight. Because going forward, there will be no excuses. There will be no excuses. And we must refocus our energy. We must recommit ourselves to our objective. Our objective has not changed. The long-term objective has not changed. It will not change until we have achieved that objective. Our short and immediate term objective at this moment is nothing else than that the leader of this great movement, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is released unconditionally because he has committed no crime. Self-determination, or the call for self-determination, or the agitation for self-determination is not a crime. And to HOD, the call for referendum is not a crime. It is a right. I understand that the British government, they said they will not, they said, go against the will of the Scottish people if they decide to go for a second referendum. If they decide, they said. Now, millions of Biafrans are calling for a referendum, for us to make a decision on how we must govern ourselves, for us to make a decision in respect to our social, political, economic, and cultural way of life and values. And we are being massacred. A second genocide is ongoing in our land. I understand as well that the new in thing now is the unknown soldiers turning into unknown government. They want to create an unexisting confusion in our land, but we are there, we are waiting for them. The Biafran people are waiting for them. If they know what is good for them, they must release Onyendu. If not, our people are getting impatient. We have a right to demand for referendum, and we have the right as well to agitate for self-determination. It is not only an international right that is guaranteed, it is not only a right that is guaranteed by the African Charter on People's Rights, African Charter on People's Rights, to every indigenous nations or indigenous people. And the Biafran people, we are the indigenous people of Biafra, and we fall squarely under the protection of these laws and of these charters. I want to state that if the politicians in Biafra land are thinking, oh, let's take their leader and keep him somewhere, and then use the opportunity to conduct elections, to come and deceive Biafrans again, I want to tell them that their trap, of course, has caught something that is not edible. I want to tell them that in Biafra land, if Oyendu does not come out, there shall be no election and no electioneering campaign in Biafra land, and we will start with Anambra State. Quote me, Mazi Edoziem. Today is the 3rd of August, 2021. If the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra does not rejoin us sooner, if the politicians think that they want to keep him and have the elections, I say again that they will be disappointed, because very, very big disappointment. I stress to say, because there will be no election in Biafra land. We are not making threats. We are telling you what we are going to do. There will be no election, not in Anambra and not in any part of Biafra land. But I believe and I know that our leader will come out, and when he comes out, of course, he has the prerogative to make a decision going forward. But before he comes, but barring that, there will be no election in Biafra land. And this is from the Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra, the institution that our leader has put in place to pilot the affairs of this movement until he rejoins us. Let me close by saying that this Biafra we pursue, it is beyond a struggle. This Biafra we pursue is the desire of the Biafran people to return to our ways, or to the ways of our ancestors. It is a Biafra where the children born and yet unborn shall be able to develop their Chukwokike-given talents for the benefit of the Biafran people as well. Therefore, we cannot see the bright future in Biafra. We cannot see the future of our children and decide not to make that to be possible, and decide not to create that environment upon which they will develop their talents and reach their dreams and goals. Into the hand of Chukwu Abiyama, I commend and commit our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He, the Alpha, Elohim, the Omega. Chukwu Okike Kadibia Gwonyanyan. In any way that our leader may feel unwell, I ask Chukwu Abiyama to lay his healing hands upon him, to confound our enemies, to confound those who are collaborating with our enemies to subjugate us and to take over our ancestral land. May Chukwu Abiyama not allow their plans to work. May he continue to guide, may he continue to envelop, to preserve, to strengthen, to fill Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with his spirit, so that, like he promised and like he said, I will not disappoint you. And my question, and we have seen it, we have seen that he is not disappointing us. He did not disappoint us In the first time they took him and incarcerated him for 2 years, tortured him, he did not disappoint us when those who kidnapped him urinated and poured it on him. He did not disappoint. He did not abandon Biafra. Are we, the Biafran people, that's the question now I'm asking all of you. Are you going to disappoint Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Mazi Chika Edoziem will not disappoint Onyendu. And I believe that all of us who came out without prodding on the 26th to even close your businesses, your source of income, your source of livelihood, you closed it. Nobody prodded you, nobody asked you. Those of you that carried out such noteworthy action will not disappoint Onyendu. And that is why I laugh when people say, you don't think about people who are at home. The people at home, they are even more committed than many of us in the diaspora, because they leave everything that brings them income, they leave it to ensure that their voices are heard, to ensure that their leader does not suffer untold hardship in the hands of the evil and wicked zoo government. And may all of you as well continue in this very struggle. All of you, I believe that after tonight, clarity must have been set, and any other person or any person who does not, or who is still not clear on the path to follow, probably has something not quite in order with that person, because this movement from day one has a structure, and that structure, we have maintained it up to this moment, and we will maintain it until our leader joins us. Thank you so much for listening this evening, and we will go back to continue our walks where we left it off. And may Chukwu Abiyama bless the indigenous people of Biafra worldwide. May Chukwu Abiyama bless those who support what we are doing. They may not be Biafrans, they support us. May Chukwu bless them as well. And may Chukwu grant us exceeding victory against all our enemies. In Chukwu Abiyama's name, I have prayed. And from me, from here, I want to say good night, great Biafrans.
indivisible. Under Chukwu Okike Abiyama, we are the people of the East. Hashtag, we are one family. Indivisible. Under Chukwu Okike Abiyama, we are the people of the East.
The type of Biafra I want is the Biafra of my ancestors, the land of the free, where people are allowed to pursue their daily endeavors without interference from any higher authority, where individual and collective autonomy of every component, ethnic, nationality within Biafra will be guaranteed, not just by law, but by virtue of our existence as dignified human beings. A Biafra that will be demilitarized, a Biafra that will be forward-looking, innovative, creative, run on clean, green energy, not reliant on gas or petrol. A Biafra where the police will not bear any arms. A Biafra where people can live and die and you will not see an armed soldier anywhere around you. A genuine republic, a land belonging to the people. We are going to cement this in the way we structure our society. A Biafra that will attract inward investment. A Biafra that will consider every necessity of life as being a human right. Not just in words, but in deed. A Biafra where there will be no strife nor rancor. A Biafra where all men and women will be equal, regardless of their religion, their sex, their creed, their orientation. A Biafra that will maintain open borders to every black soul on the face of this very earth. I do admit that geographically, in terms of landmass, we may not be that huge. The Biafra will operate, or should I say, run an open door policy. Every black person on the face of this earth will be an honorary citizen of Biafra, as long as you're not tainted by terrorism. That is the type of Biafra we want to run. A Biafra where Europeans will sit back and say, we never knew that such innovation and creativity will be possible. A Biafra that, should I say, the likes of Rwanda is a forerunner to, because today they are doing very well as well. That is the type of nation we are going to build. A truly democratic nation, not through the force of arms, but through dialogue and negotiations at all times. Nobody's going to lord it over anybody else. My ancestors never did. That is why we remain the only people not to conquer any other piece of territory, and nobody conquered us until the white man came and our temple fell in 1904. That is the land we're going to go back to. A Biafra of very many nations, a Biafra of autonomous nations within, governing themselves according to their own rules, where nobody will sit at the helm of power and dictate for others what to do. And we are going to accomplish it by the grace of God Almighty in heaven. Now, I know that constant references are being made to Southern Sudan. But I want to let people understand that even after the USA became free from British colonial rule, they also went through a very bitter civil war. And that did not stop them today from becoming preeminent in every sphere of human endeavor, militarily, economically, socially, in every way. So I do believe that is why I said, and I have said this repeatedly, I will never ever lead Biafra politically. Once Biafra is restored, my job is done. I want to be able to prove to our people what sacrifice means, so that those who will come after us will know how to treat our people with respect and with dignity. The thing about Africa is somebody gets into power and they want to stay there forever and ever, see if there is something in it. The little work that I'm doing for Biafran people is very tiring, very, very stressful. Sometimes I don't even know how these presidents manage to sleep. Maybe they don't love their people that much. If you love your people, you cannot sleep at night. Any president in Africa who's not suffering from high blood pressure, you are not sick. That means you're doing something wrong. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. If you're concerned about your people, then I expect you to be very ill at all times. So that is the type of Biafra that we need. That's the type of Biafra we're going to have. A type of Biafra where the wealth, well-being of Sub-Saharan Africa flows from. And I can assure you we are going to deliver it. We will deliver it. The Pan-Africanism that we talk about is going to start from Biafra because, mind you, I did not say that we're just going to have Biafra and then we shut up all the borders. No. What we want to do is to return to our organic political cultural arrangement. Should Biafrans wake up the next day to say, oh, we want to be the same country with Oduduwa, all well and good. Should Biafrans wake up and say, oh, we want to expand into Amazonia, all well and good. As long as you take the consent of the people with you, this nonsense that the Europeans did in Africa, we want to reverse it. That God Almighty heaven may look down and be very proud to say that at last, I have people who are after my heart. And that's what we intend to do with Biafra. Thank you very much.
Hashtag, we are one family. Indivisible. Under Chupu Okike Abiyama, we are the people of the East. Hashtag, we are one family. Indivisible. Under Chupu Okike Abiyama, we are the people of the East.
The type of Biafra I want is the Biafra of my ancestors, the land of the free, where people are allowed to pursue their daily endeavors without interference from any higher authority, where individual and collective autonomy of every component, ethnic, nationality within Biafra will be guaranteed, not just by law, but by virtue of our existence as dignified human beings. A Biafra that will be demilitarized, a Biafra that will be forward-looking, innovative, creative, run on clean, green energy, not reliant on gas or petrol. A Biafra where the police will not bear any arms. A Biafra where people can live and die and you will not see an armed soldier anywhere around you. A genuine republic, a land belonging to the people. We are going to cement this in the way we structure our society. A Biafra that will attract inward investments. A Biafra that will consider every necessity of life as being a human right. Not just in words, but in deed. A Biafra where there will be no strife nor rancor. A Biafra where all men and women will be equal, regardless of their religion, their sex, their creed, their orientation. A Biafra that will maintain open borders to every black soul on the face of this very earth. I do admit that geographically, in terms of landmass, we may not be that huge. The Biafra will operate, or should I say, run an open door policy. Every black person on the face of this earth will be an honorary citizen of Biafra, as long as you're not tainted by terrorism. That is the type of Biafra we want to run. A Biafra where Europeans will sit back and say, we never knew that such innovation and creativity will be possible. A Biafra that, should I say, the likes of Rwanda is a forerunner to, because today they are doing very well as well. That is the type of nation we are going to build. A truly democratic nation, not through the force of arms, but through dialogue and negotiations at all times. Nobody's going to lord it over anybody else. My ancestors never did. That is why we remain the only people not to conquer any other piece of territory, and nobody conquered us until the white man came and our temple fell in 1904. That is the land we're going to go back to. A Biafra of very many nations, a Biafra of autonomous nations within, governing themselves according to their own rules, where nobody will sit at the helm of power and dictate for others what to do. And we are going to accomplish it by the grace of God Almighty in heaven. Now, I know that constant references are being made to Southern Sudan. But I want to let people understand that even after the USA became free from British colonial rule, they also went through a very bitter civil war. And that did not stop them today from becoming preeminent in every sphere of human endeavor, militarily, economically, socially, in every way. So I do believe that is why I said, and I have said this repeatedly, I will never ever lead Biafra politically. Once Biafra is restored, my job is done. I want to be able to prove to our people what sacrifice means, so that those who will come after us will know how to treat our people with respect and with dignity. The thing about Africa is somebody gets into power and they want to stay there forever and ever, see if there is something in it. The little work that I'm doing for Biafran people is very tiring, very, very stressful. Sometimes I don't even know how these presidents manage to sleep. Maybe they don't love their people that much. If you love your people, you cannot sleep at night. Any president in Africa who's not suffering from high blood pressure, you are not sick. That means you're doing something wrong. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. If you're concerned about your people, then I expect you to be very ill at all times. So that is the type of Biafra that we need. That's the type of Biafra we're going to have. A type of Biafra where the wealth, well-being of Sub-Saharan Africa flows from. And I can assure you we are going to deliver it. We will deliver it. The Pan-Africanism that we talk about is going to start from Biafra, because mind you, I did not say that we're just going to have Biafra and then we shut up all the borders. No. What we want to do is to return to our organic political cultural arrangement. Should Biafrans wake up the next day to say, oh, we want to be the same country with Oduduwa, all well and good. Should Biafrans wake up and say, oh, we want to expand into Ambazonia, all well and good. As long as you take the consent of the people with you, this nonsense that the Europeans did in Africa, we want to reverse it. That God Almighty heaven may look down and be very proud to say that at last, I have people who are after my heart. And that's what we intend to do with Biafra. Thank you very much.
Hashtag, we are one family, indivisible. Under Chupu Okike Abiyama, we are the people of the East. Hashtag, we are one family, indivisible. Under Chupu Okike Abiyama, we are the people of the East. This is Radio Biafra Middle East. We are on breakfast, and Biafra is rising. All right, welcome back. Of course, it is to Radio Biafra Middle East, and in this so Biafra is rising. I have to let my guest this morning go, or rather hold off for a minute or so, because I had a very important person who walked into the studio. And it's somebody I cannot just say no to. Somebody I would definitely love to hear from. Somebody Biafrans all around the world would definitely love to hear from. Wherever you are hearing the sound of my voice, it is to Radio Biafra Middle East. And you can be rest assured that Biafra is rising. All right, let's get straight to it. Who do I have here in the studio? Her name is Flair Hassan Nahum. Did I get it right?
You did, and very few people in this country do, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, do you want to know who this person is? She is the deputy mayor of Jerusalem. My goodness me, foreign relations.
Yes.
I am honored.
I'm honored to be here. I love the work that you do, and you represent a very important community.
Thank you very much. This is an interview that I will probably schedule for a year to get, you know.
I'll come back.
I probably won't even get it. But my goodness me, I am so blessed, you know, to be speaking to you this morning. So tell me a bit about you. Go ahead.
So I wasn't born in this country. I was born in Gibraltar, which is a British colony in southern Spain.
I can hear the accent.
And yeah, it's a colonial accent, right? My mother is actually from Morocco.
Okay.
And I grew up in a Sephardi Jewish family. When I was 18, I went to England to study. I'm a lawyer by profession.
Wow.
And then 18 years ago, my husband and I decided that we wanted to come and live in Israel. I'm very excited about the fact that we have our own country after 2,000 years, that we have self-determination as Jewish people. And this was very important to me, and I'm very proud that my 4 children were born here, and they're born Israel.
Absolutely. So you are a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
And that is my passion.
Don't hold it against me.
No, it's my passion. I'm a third-year student, University
Where?
of South Africa.
Amazing.
I'm doing LLB law.
That's great. I have an
2 years to
LLB.
go. You have an LLB?
I do. I have an LLB because I studied in London.
My goodness me.
I did law and I worked in it for a couple of years and I didn't want to continue.
Okay.
But I will say something about being a lawyer. First of all, it trains you to think in a certain way.
Absolutely.
And the second thing, it opens many, many doors in any job you want.
Absolutely.
Because people automatically assume that when you're a lawyer, you're smart.
Absolutely.
Not all lawyers are smart.
You consult.
But in our case, it's true.
Consult. You know what they say about lawyer, what they tell us? They say it's not the best lawyer that wins the case. It's the one that consults the statutes, the law books before you go to your case.
It's the people that know the sources.
Absolutely.
And they know how to build an argument. You also have to know how to build an argument.
You're right.
And that's what trained me to be a politician. The law gave me that discipline of building an argument.
I can imagine you arguing there in the Knesset.
I argue in the Jerusalem City Council a lot.
All right. So you are a deputy mayor of Jerusalem.
Yes.
So tell me, what is your work?
Well, my work involves a number of things. Jerusalem, as you know, is not just the capital city of the State of Israel,
Absolutely.
but it's kind of the center of the world.
Absolutely.
Center of the religious world, center of the Jewish world. So I feel very privileged to be in that position. So my position involves a number of things: diplomatic ties with other cities around the world, philanthropy coming into the capital, making sure that it's strategic for the good of the city. It also involves work in tourism. I would love to be able to do a tourist campaign in your countries, in Biafra, so to get
Absolutely.
people to come.
I'm glad you mentioned the name. We don't get people talk Biafra. Did you hear how she said? Let me hear you say it again.
Biafra.
There you go.
So I want the Biafrans to come and experience Jerusalem. I do tourism, and also now I'm taking on a new role as helping developing employment and quality employment in the city, because we have a lot of very underprivileged population groups that need better employment opportunities. And this is another thing that I'm trying to do with different companies around the world, to come and open up businesses in Jerusalem.
All right, tell me, what do you know about Biafra?
You know, when I was little, I remember hearing about the conflict, and I remember my parents telling me about the terrible genocide going on in Biafra and about the children of Biafra. And since then, I understand that there's an identity that's kind of been swallowed up to a bigger country. And I'm very aware of the Igbo tribes, because I have a friend who's very involved in that work, trying to bring together all the different communities around the world that consider themselves to have Israelite heritage, and how we can embrace these communities from around the world. So I'm actually very involved in trying to help in this mission.
Absolutely. And this is what we are looking for, and this is what we are talking about. If you are joining us right now anywhere around the world, I am here in the studio with the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, and of course her name is Fleur Hassan Nahom. She is my guest, an August, should I call it an August guest or something, because we never scheduled this, it just happened. She honors us, and we are so privileged to have her in the studio.
In Hebrew we say min hashamayim, from the heavens.
From the heavens, and I can agree, I can attest to that. You know something, I'm here in Israel, I feel at home. You know, I feel attached to Israel because of the history. There are things that we do as Biafrans that sometimes we don't know where it came from. But when I came to Israel, I began to see, wow, so this is where all this came from. We circumcise at 8 days, just the same way they do here in Israel. Everything is just the same. So we feel so attached, and this is why we say, where is the first place for us to go and ask for help? Israel comes to mind. because this is the people we feel that we have gone through the same thing. The Prime Minister Netanyahu, when he was giving a speech on the Holocaust last year, he is the first Prime Minister or world leader that have mentioned Biafra as the same people who have suffered the same fate with the Jewish nation. I mean, we were slaughtered more than almost 5 million. The figures might be somehow displaced, but we were slaughtered. 5 million men, women, and children, and the same fate with the Jewish nation. Now, I say to myself, there cannot be just only one Jewish nation in the world. There has to be an ally. And Biafra is that ally that Israel is looking for.
I think you're more than allies. I think we're family.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you feel at home in Israel is very important for us. First of all, to be seen by the world as a nation that embraces different people and different people who've had similar narratives and similar experiences. And I think that with the lessons that we learned from our own genocide, we have a responsibility to embrace other peoples around the world and share the experiences and share also how to bring the collective memory of a people into the forefront of their narrative. And that's a very, very important thing.
All right. I need you to tell me this. Now, I could be wrong, but you tell me if I'm wrong. Now, for me, my concept of Biafra is this. When I think Biafra, I think security of life, property, and the people. Because when people has gone through genocide, you're not interested in the resources. You're not interested in all the natural resources you have. What you are interested in is life. You said never again. That is my concept of Biafra. But people misunderstand the fact that what we are fighting for is not about the resources. We know the oil that Nigeria has is in our nation, in our land. But it's not our priority. We just want to live. Because as I'm talking to you right now, Biafrans are being slaughtered every day. Our land is being invaded. And I believe that the best way we can protect lives and property in Biafra is to have a boundary. To say, this is where it stops. If you cross over here, then now this is aggression. What is your take on that?
I'm not well learned about your conflict to give an opinion. But look, in life, the most important thing is basic needs. And basic needs is security and food and the feeling of being secure. I believe that every nation deserves self-determination.
Absolutely.
And I believe every nation or every people deserves security and well-being. And so any nation that seeks that is a friend of Israel. I believe that every nation deserves self-determination, including the Palestinians. I just think that they've had terrible, terrible leadership that has not allowed them to get to where they should have been. But I believe, as a person who comes from Gibraltar, where we fought many years for self-determination, my father was the leader of Gibraltar, he was the chief minister of Gibraltar, and he fought for the most important thing. They decided they wanted to be British, but they decided what they wanted to be. And that's important. The Jewish people deserve self-determination, and every nation deserves self-determination.
Awesome. Let me digress a bit. Gibraltar, you said.
Yeah.
I've heard about the Rock of Gibraltar.
That's
What
it.
is that?
It's a rock. It's a huge rock. You're driving down from Spain and you look and all of a sudden you see a big rock jutting out of the water.
I was hearing it from childhood. I'm like, the Rock of Gibraltar.
You have to come and visit. It's
Absolutely.
what separates Europe from Africa. Yeah, the Straits of Gibraltar.
All right. Have you heard about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra?
I've heard about him, yes. I don't know a lot about him, but I have heard the name.
All right. He is a man that has seen it all. Now, I can tell you this with all certainty, with all sincerity. The reason why we are following that man, he is incorruptible. Because, in this world, it's difficult to find a man that you can trust. It's all about trust. You told me about bad leaders.
Yeah.
That is why probably Palestine is where they are today.
Yeah.
Because if they have people who have the interest of the people, who can negotiate for
If
the
they
people.
would have had a Nelson Mandela, they wouldn't be where they are right now.
Absolutely. Because Nelson Mandela just got a deal for the people.
He wasn't after his own benefit.
Absolutely.
He wasn't after his own lining his pocket. And I think that's the most important thing. A good leader has to have integrity. That's really the most important thing. And integrity means honesty. And it means that you're there for the people. It's very easy for leaders to be corrupted. But the great leaders are incorruptible. So I'm very happy that you guys have the privilege to have a leader which is incorruptible.
We have a leader that is so incorruptible, but we are so, we are, I don't know how to put it. Every day we cry for him because he has gone through a lot.
I can imagine.
They came to kill him. I'm talking about soldiers. He has to flee for his life.
Of course.
His father's home, he's a prince. His father is a king. The home was destroyed and everything.
Where is he now?
He's in the UK because he's also a British citizen.
Yeah, like
and
me.
Also
I'm also British.
He's also a British citizen.
Tell him to come to Israel.
He's been here. Here was his first
I
stop.
know, I heard.
He has to come here first.
He should come. I'll tell him that he's invited to come to Jerusalem, and I'll give him my own personal private tour of Jerusalem when he comes next time.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell him that. You can bet on it. So, what will you tell Biafrans because they are crying for peace? In our own case, we are the most peaceful organization, the indigenous people of Biafra. We've never picked up arms. We've never fought anybody. All we do is carry our flag and say, we want to be on our own, period.
I think peace comes first and foremost from the grassroots. You know, politicians can sign any agreement in the world, but if people, neighbors, can't get along or don't have peace in their day-to-day, then it doesn't really mean anything.
Absolutely.
So I think the best thing that can be done is the stuff that we do in Jerusalem with the Arab residents of the city. Try and create grassroots activities for economic prosperity, economic development,